Hello out there, subscribers and friends. This is Surviving 2 coming at you with another video. Alright, today what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new penny stove. But I guess you couldn't call it a penny because I'm not going to use a penny in the center of it anymore. What I'm going to end up doing, instead of these 5 holes or ever many holes that you normally put in one or want to put in one, I'm going to put a bolt down in there. So that way I can unscrew the bolt, fill it, put the bolt back in, and I won't get any gas escape from there. It'll all be coming from the burners around the outside edge. Now what I need in the way of parts naturally is 2 tin cans. I got a regular box cutter, and then for the jets, this is all I use, just a regular little push pin, and that's it. Now sections of this I'm going to go ahead and speed up so I don't bore the hell out of you, and then I'm going to have to cut away and come back to it and have other parts here ready to assemble, and I'll explain what I do. Alright, y'all hang in there, I'll be right back. Okay, I want to make my stove about this tall, about as tall as this one here too. This one's they're pretty good sizes. I found that bigger stoves just don't quite work as well. They hold more fuel, but they don't, I don't know, they don't just seem to work quite as well. So I want one about that size. Got a piece of wood here, and you can see it's going to make it about the same size. So that's where what I would be doing is cutting. So I'm going to set that one aside, move this stuff out of my way, and I'm going to start cutting. You cut the bottoms off. That's what you want, the 2 bottoms. I've already cleaned these out, let them dry, and they're ready to go. So I'll get started, and y'all just keep an eye. Okay, now that I've got the 2 halves cut, and wouldn't you know, here on video they give me trouble, so I had to use 10 snips. Now I'm ready to go ahead and figure out, mark my holes, and get them ready to punch out in the top, and whichever one I figure the top is. And what I'll probably do is take the smoother of the 2, which I'm going to probably get something and file this down before I go ahead and mark my holes and get that taken care of. Alright, that's got a lot of the burrs off the inside and the outside of it, and a lot off the edge of it there. Now the inside I'm not so worried about on this one. This is my bottom piece, and I've got all the burrs off the outside and got it flattened down there. That was done with a half round 4 edged file, part rasp, and then double cut there, and then a double cut here. Now that first file was just a regular flat file, single cut on one side, double cut on the other, and I was using the single cut side to go ahead and cut it all with. Now then, I take the one that I want to be the top, that's my bottom, that's my top, and I'm going to go ahead and mark just temporarily right there. Now what I want to do is make my jets. So mark a mark here, I go directly opposite, put one there, figure out about 90-degree angle to those 2 marks, put another one there, another one there, do the same thing, split the difference, put 8 marks in here. That's close enough. Now I'll get the push pinny after it, and the push pin I mean, and get after it here in just a second. Okay, I got to thinking this one is only going to have 8 holes in it, which is kind of like my old stove. I'm going to try something new. I'm going to go in between those 8 holes and put other holes. So that one I want high. I want that one high. That one high. That one high. That one high. That one will be high. There's another one. And then the last one. The other ones will be further down the rim. And I'll go ahead and punch those holes and show you what I'm doing. Okay, that's all the holes punched in it and pretty much ready to go. Let me go ahead and scuff it up a little bit and I'll get back to you. Okay, I've just used a little brass steel brush, brass brush, and brushed it up a little bit up here on the top, and then I used a little bit of fuel to go ahead and get those marks off of there so that you can better see how I've punched the holes in there. Now when you use the pin, you're going all the way up into it to get it to go ahead, and I don't wallow it around or wiggle it around or anything. I just go straight in with it, and then it's going to leave a burr on the inside, but you're not really worried about that. You don't care about that burr. I just care about the outside, and there's no nothing to hurt me out here. Now I got to figure out what size center bolt or what I want to use for that. I got to dig through my screws and see what I can come up with, and I'll get back with you. Okay, I just went through my taps and bolts, and I got one bolt here that'll be fairly easy for me to unscrew by hand. and it would also work as a support. Now I got another one here that would also be fairly easy for me to unscrew by hand. Might work as a support, but when it's run down all the way, that washer is concave, so it'll seal better. So I'm not sure which one's which. So what I did is I went through my taps after finding the bolt, and I think I've come up with the right size here. I don't have my gauge that I normally use to sort this stuff out. I'm just doing it by eyeball. My gauge is not handy, but anyway, it should work. So I'll get after it here in a second after I make a hole and show you what's up. Okay, now I'm fixing to make that hole. I'm sure everybody's probably seen one of these. One of these are good to keep in the car. If you ever get trapped in the car, whatever, it's going underwater, this little puppy, you just put it on the window and do that. That window shatters. It'll shatter in a heartbeat. Okay, let me go ahead and mark my center, or about where I think center is. Doesn't have to be perfect. Start the hole, and then I'll take, and I'm going to run this thing up bigger and bigger and bigger. So I'm going to probably speed this section up so that way you don't have to sit through it. There it is. That one's fit into there, and that one works great, and I can screw it and unscrew it with my fingers with no problem. And all it took was that one tap tool system that I've got. A lot of electricians carry them. I still got all my old tools. I've got meters, amp meters, all kinds of stuff. Now we go on to the next portion of it. We can set that aside. I won't use that one. Won't need that. Put it back with the rest of the taps. Everything's got its home. Now comes the fun part. I just went up my attic and pulled a little insulation out. Enough for quite a few of these stoves and some other stuff I'm going to make. So just got to be careful with it and don't want to get it all over me. Just want it enough to where I can take the bottom portion of the stove and pack it in there. Smidgen more, not much. I'll level it out as best I can to where it feels, I can feel it, and it feels about the same all the way around as far as compression. Alright, there we go. Now I'm about ready to join the two halves. Now this is the tricky part, because one half doesn't want to join real well with the other half. So what you got to do is take a pair of needle nose, and let me get turned around here to where I can get to it better. You just want to stick your needle nose up there, hold it, and twist it. You want to hold it one on each side, the opposite way you're going to twist it. And I just did something I didn't want to. See that crease right there? You don't want that real big crease in it, because that crease will show up when you go to put the stove together. Just want to do it a little bit, enough to make it contract. What you're wanting is this edge to be a little bit smaller than the other one that you're putting it into. So I'll do this, go around, come back to you. Okay, I've gone around it and creased it a little bit. You can see a little bit, I hope I'm getting this in frame. You can see a little bit of what I've done. You can see how it's creased around the edge a little bit and shrunken. Alright, now then, I got to dig up one more part that I need. I got to find out where I put it. I didn't have it here with me. I'll get back to you. Okay, now these sometimes have a tendency to leak around the sides, and this high temp red RTV silicone, that's what I use to seal it with, so that way I don't end up with any leaks. And what I'll do is I'll just take it and I'll start running a bead around this upper portion. Okay, now that I've got that bead around there, try and get off what I can of the mess I just made. Get it off my hands and get it off my work table here. It just jumped right out of my hand. Alright, now then, I take the two parts and I start fitting them together. And it's a slow fit. Alright, there we go. I've got it fit together. Now just push it together a little bit. Alright, that's about where I want to stop, right there. You see that bead that's built up? Now I just take my finger and I just smooth that out. And that helps seal around that portion. Alright, get that off that finger and I'll show you what I got now. You can see where it's sealed all the way around. Now I just let that set up. If I don't get it all over myself again, just let it set up. And the stove will be pretty much ready to go. And that's how you can make what they call a penny stove, only mine will be without the penny. It'll take about 24 hours or so, a little less than actually, depends on the temperature, the humidity, everything else, as to how long that will take to set up. But that will help seal it. You won't get any blowback out of that right there. So that's it on the penny stove.
I want to thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more in the future that I put out, just subscribe. Until then, later.